Hey, real estate rock stars. This is Aaron Amuchastegui. I'm back as your host today. Something exciting going on today. I'm recording a series of podcasts at the ROG Talks in Sacramento, California. I just got to hear Katie speak on stage, and I can't wait to interview her again, give you guys some tips and tricks and some of the things that she was talking about. Katie, how's it going?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Where do you live?
I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, a little town called Pleasanton.
Pleasanton. Awesome. How long have you been doing like real estate stuff?
I feel like forever.
Yeah.
That's kind of in the real estate business, probably actually about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So really my expertise is in real estate marketing. I've actually never been a licensed realtor.
Yep.
But just have always loved marketing and sort of that intersection between real estate and marketing.
Yeah. You know, a challenge that so many agents are having today is that social media is like a requirement.
Yeah.
It's a requirement. It's really hard to be successful without it. And so many people said, I didn't sign up for this. This isn't what I wanted to do. This isn't what I do. Yeah. Right. And you're on stage as the social media expert today. You were the expert, tips and tricks, tactics, going through it. But I'm guessing there was a period of time 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years, who knows, where you hated social media. Right? Where you would have said, I'll never be the person on stage teaching social media. I may be wrong, but like, was that the case? Like, was this a shock to you?
I'm a little bit of invert in the sense that when I got into the real estate industry, it was about 20 years ago. And that was back in sort of the MySpace days.
Yep.
Right. And I remember when Facebook came around, I was like, what is this? And then it sounds corny, but I kind of fell in love with the whole idea. And I think part of it is at the time I was working for a real estate brokerage and I was helping agents with their marketing. And I was seeing how much money they were spending on the Sunday newspapers, on the magazine, on everything. And I'm like, what an awesome opportunity for realtors to be able to market themselves for free unless they're paying for ads. And yeah, they've definitely gone through ebbs and flows, sometimes a little bit of burnout here and there, and social media has changed. But I still think at the heart of it is a great place for realtors to keep in touch with people, to build those relationships, and also to attract new business and expand their sphere.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been all in since the beginning. You saw it at the beginning. I remember I was at an event like, I want to say 5 years ago at this, kind of speaking social media event. And this guy that came on stage, he was late 60s, early 70s, and it's coaching people on different sales. And he said, hey, I even have a TikTok. Right. And everybody laughed. Everybody in the audience kind of laughed. Like, what? Like, that's a social media thing where little kids are showing dances of themselves. Like, that's not the thing. Right. And he's like, no, you got to dig in now. And I remember it to a T because I didn't dig into TikTok at the time. And boy, was he right.
Yeah.
Because people have really dug in there. And so I think that, maybe what I really got from that is like life and business is a really long time. And you never know. So you dug in early on. Now you're able to help people. And so many people, we spend money on buying leads and buying deal flow, all sorts of stuff. And you're like, hey, why not invest in yourself in this long-term thing? So one of the things you talked about on stage was the three C's, right? Like this idea where somebody says, okay, I want to do social media. They decide, okay, I've decided I'm all in, but I still don't know where to start. And so what encouragement advice would you give them, whether it's along the 3 C's or just some tactics of going, hey, if you're starting today, if you don't have a social media yet, how do you get started?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, one of the things we talked about was, kind of finding clarity in your voice and being consistent and the content you show, how you show up. I think if someone is at the brand new sort of beginning stages, it can feel a little overwhelming. You kind of feel like, how do I jump on this moving train? So honestly, I recommend at first be a little bit of a lurker, which might sound a little weird, but spend a little bit of time. Like somebody in the audience asked a question, like, where do I need to be? Do I need to be on all these platforms? And I really think there's a lot of benefit in taking a little bit of time to spend some time on Facebook if you haven't been on Facebook in a while. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, which is now X, LinkedIn. There's probably a TikTok, as you mentioned. Just spend a little bit of time, I would say, lurking. Number one, looking at what other realtors in your area are doing, seeing what the kind of competition is doing. Look at realtors in other markets, and then also look at other industries. And I love looking at like the hospitality industry or the entertainment industry, and just kind of getting a sense of like what resonates with you. I think that's the first place to start. And then the second place, before you even post something, I would look to see like, where are your people at? Where are not just your friends and family, but your clients and your prospects? And one of the things I mentioned was, if you have a database, reach out to your database and just ask, hey, where are you hanging out? We're really working on showing up better on social. Are you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube? None of the above. And people will tell you, right? I'll be very candid. And when you start to get that data, again, before you even start to post, I would just start to show up. It would take, honestly, probably 5 or 10 minutes a day as you are starting your day. Maybe you're drinking a cup of coffee or having a cup of tea. Pick 1 or 2 of those platforms that you resonate with. Scroll through and see what the people you're connected to, what are they posting? What are they talking about? And take a few minutes to like and comment and engage in a meaningful way. Like, don't be a drive-by liker, right? But take a few minutes to notice. I always tell my 2 kids, be a noticer in the world. And so that's because real estate's such a relationship business. That's where I would start, is noticing things. You'll see it's someone's birthday, as an example. You could be one of the 50 people that writes on our page, happy birthday. Or you might be the one person that actually calls them that day, So I think when you think about it that way in terms of relationship building, it takes a little bit of the pressure off, right? So figuring out where to be, again, sort of leaning into your network and who you're connected to. And then that last piece is, okay, now I have something to say. How can I say it? How can I show in an authentic way? So
I really like that as a way to start. It's also less intimidating. You're saying, hey, at the beginning, social media doesn't have to be content.
Yeah.
It can be interaction. It can be the social part where someone else is posting and you're just interacting with them. You're seeing them. So you can study other agents that are successful and say, what are they doing? And it's okay to copy and say, hey, I'm going to do that. And the other side is then you're reaching out to you're seeing just the people in your lives, in your sphere. What are they talking about? Where are they going? Hey, let me just be a friend. Let me just take this opportunity to notice the thing. I had a guy that's like really important to me. He was a counselor of mine like 12 years ago. And he just posted a thing a month ago, like a quick little photo of like he was in the hospital. Right. And he hadn't heard from me in like 10 years. And I sent him this really long text, and there was a lot of comments on the things, but I sent him this really long text and he called me right afterward and we spoke for about an hour. Right. And it was this like interaction of that was like this accidental of like just paying attention, just being there and going, hey, 50 people said something. Let me just do a little something extra. Yeah. And he was, and it was like, and it was really meaningful to him. And so I could see that really transporting. One of the things you showed on stage was like a highlights of the month, right? Taking CapCut, you throw 30 videos in there. It does a quick 20-second video. It's like the month recap. One of the things that I thought was the coolest about that is I do those too. I love CapCut. I love all the different tools that are out there. And you posted that video and you said, what stood out to you the most in there? The funny thing to me was I was guessing that a different thing was going to stand out to like 20 different people. Yeah. So like the cool thing about the algorithm today really is like if someone doesn't, it's almost better than it used to be because it's not about follows anything else. Like you can post a video and it's going to go to the right people. The people that are going to see your video are most likely to like it. They're most likely the ones that like it. Right. And the people that don't want it, the people that don't want to hear about it, they're probably not even going to see it from the algorithm. The algorithm knows like it's not for them. And as you put yourself out there and become more relatable, the idea of throwing, a bunch of videos and clips into a 30-second clip, now it widens that because now you have 30 different pieces of content at the same time. They're 1 second, but then somebody goes, oh, I relate because she has a dog. Oh, I relate because she has a son. Oh, she's a fan of Disney. Oh, she's at the Statue of Liberty. Like those little clips that are in there. And that was a pretty good reminder to me of that, of like, hey, that's a great way to get somebody to go like, oh, we relate because I was at New York last year too. Yeah. Something like that.
And one of the speakers just said on stage too, how that small talk leads to big talk.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that. I've heard other speakers say it too. It's so true. Like, it could be like I post a picture of my dog or my cat or I'm going to Disney, and that has nothing to do with my business, but it's related.
Yeah.
And often business comes from those just small little conversations. It's like when you're at a party, you're not like, hi, I'm a realtor. Would you like to do business with me? You're talking about, whatever you're talking about, backyard barbecue, and just it naturally kind of comes up in conversation.
Yeah.
So same thing.
What are some of the apps and tools that you're using? There was one you showed on stage that was amazing at all of a sudden like cutting out the noise. So what are just a few different ones you use?
Yeah. So you mentioned CapCut earlier. I love CapCut. I use CapCut specifically for the templates because I just think they're so fast and easy. I talk to a lot of realtors who are like, I have all these photos and videos on my phone and I just want to like put them together and I don't know how to edit. So CapCut's a great thing.
Yeah.
You can just like search for a template, put your stuff together, boom, it's done. But like looks amazing with music and everything. The other one that I showed on stage was Descript. So descript.com. I think they do have an app, but I use it on my computer because it's really robust. I love it. So what Descript does, especially for like podcasts or even longer form video or any kind of video content, you can upload it into Descript and they have these AI features, which is fantastic. So one of them is called Studio Sound. You hit the button and it just takes out all the background.
Yeah, your before and after you did with that was incredible. Yeah.
It's like if you have, and even, in a room like this, we have professional mics, but it's, you still might pick up, maybe, somebody walking down the hallway or whatever it might be. So cleans up the sound. Also with Descript, what's kind of cool about it is it'll pick all your ums and ahs out. So if you want to take those out, if you want to cut out any little pauses that you might have or repetitive words, and it's a really quick way to clean up your video really quick. So I use that. The third one I'll just mention too is Canva. I'm a huge Canva user. Didn't get a chance to mention it today because I only had 20 minutes. But
Yeah.
Canva's awesome for graphics. I'll often take a video from Descript and put it in Canva and just add some fun graphics or video overlays. And it just made it again makes it easier. I think that's what it's all about. It has to be quick and easy and simple.
Yeah. What do you think are the biggest mistakes agents make, or really anyone in business makes when they try to, like when they're on social media? What are the biggest mistakes they make?
I think a couple things. I think we still see agents who are just still talking about nothing but business. It's all like just listed, just sold, open houses, which I talked about earlier. It's like the sea of sameness. It's the same thing, right? So I think it's okay to talk about that. You have to also add in your thoughts around the market, your thoughts around, your frequently asked questions. One of the things I said was, hey, give me some not just tips, but if your mom was moving, like how would you approach that? How would you say that? Like, hey, my mom is moving. This is like the one thing I would tell her. So the mistake question is basically just business all the time. You have to integrate who you are, and your personality doesn't have to be, oh, I like cats or I like dogs. It could be just more opinion on things, right? And that goes, I think, into leaning into, who you are and who you're not. I think the other big mistake is a lot of people, and maybe this is like an unpopular opinion, but a lot of people like pay someone to do all their social media. And I don't think there's anything wrong with assistant or video editor or someone to just help. Somebody use ChatGPT to help with content. But like real estate's personal. Like you gotta show up, right? Part of it is the content. But part of it, like you said, is the noticer. Is the fact that you reached out, you saw that post, and you called him. You can, I'm sure you could maybe do that through AI, but it's not the same as you doing it. So I think a lot of agents think that takes all the time. I don't have time. Well, do you check their email every day? Yeah, probably, right? Like if your phone rings and you can tell it's a client, you just gotta let it go to voicemail. Maybe with your kids, maybe, but it's the same thing. Like, why do we think of social media differently? We got to show up with the engagement. Just be human.
Yeah. I made that mistake a lot with social media where I would pay someone to create the videos.
Yeah.
Right. And they looked great. They looked so great, and they would be like the highlight reels, and, they just did really, really good. And they wouldn't get the feedback. Right. And then I would have something where I was driving in my car, I'd call my Tesla talks. And my phone's like facing me, where I'd have a thought and I'd hit record. And while I'm driving in my Tesla, then I would just say like, hey, here's the thing. Now I would take that video. I would, just put it up, like upload it, write it to Instagram. I would say, put the captions on, put some music behind it, but like really, really easy. And I'd have some of those hit, hundreds of thousands of views, where the one that I spent money on and time and effort would get like 500 or 600. But I think it is because people want to see you. Right. And that's more relatable. Right. If you see someone with a professional everything, looks great. Yeah. It's less relatable. Right. That person can have a camera crew. They can edit it. That's not who I am. Like I'm doing selfies of my kids, with my kids. Like, so I think it is better. One of the questions that just hit the stage that was doing the social media talk that I thought was a great answer, but I'd love to hear how you feel about it, was somebody said, what about having a personal Instagram page and a business Instagram page? And that would go for TikTok, for anything. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't recall who answered it, but I agree with what they said. They basically said like it's really hard to manage two different accounts. I think in theory we think, oh, okay, I could have a private one just for my friends and family, and then I'll have a business one. But usually one of them is neglected, right? I see this time and time again. So I think for most platforms, just having one. I think the only exception is Facebook.
Okay.
I think with Facebook, I still think it's good to have a personal profile and a business page. Even though it's a business page, you're not going to get a whole lot of organic traction. You may not get a whole lot of likes and comments, but people look. People are big time workers with real estate. And especially if they're looking to work with you, they often Google you. Facebook's one of the first things that comes up. So Facebook communities, because you post business stuff too. And, you may not get a ton of engagement, but it's still, I think, valuable to me as well. But yeah, I think the most platforms, I think just having one.
I think that's really good advice because Facebook is different because your business page there gets reviews, gets likes, gets comments. That doesn't, I don't know of any other platform that does, right? So, and I think it does search a little bit different. If you're searching for roofing companies in an area, it's going to hit. So it's a really good point. So on Facebook, having a business page is great because people can give you reviews there. It counts and it's going to show up on like searches because people, I mean, we go onto Facebook to buy stuff all the time. Like it's maybe the only platform that does that. So I could see the difference there. And yeah, I really liked what the speaker had said. The example she gave was like, how many roofing companies do you follow, right? How many HVAC companies do you follow? The people don't want to follow companies, right? They want to follow people. And so like, why would they follow because they want to follow you as a person and not your business page. And I think that just makes a lot of sense, but it's a great point that on Facebook is slightly different.
It is different too. Like even on Instagram and Facebook are both owned by Meta. They're like apples and oranges, right? They're like similar but different. I mean, I think sometimes with Facebook too, people may not always want to friend you, and it's nothing personal. There's some people who just are like, no, I'd rather like and follow his business page because that they, in their mind, they like to have that separation. Some people are like that, and I feel like the Instagram audience sometimes is a little bit different, and they're more likely to, I want to follow him, not the company. So, yeah, it's interesting. They're kind of
yeah. One of the concepts you talked about is coming up with an idea and then spitting it out a whole bunch of different ways. So like podcasts or on YouTube or Instagram or Reels or Instagram Lives. So will you record a video, take the same video and upload it to Instagram, to Facebook, to TikTok, to YouTube Shorts? Or will you take that concept and do a different video for each?
It kind of depends, but generally speaking, I usually start with YouTube. So I put out usually 4 or 5 YouTube videos every month, usually about once a week. Most of them, usually once a week. And I will take that long form video, and usually by long form, it's like 5 to 7 minutes typically. And then I'll take that, and I actually use Descript for this because you can take a long form video, and there's also an AI tool that will pick out like the 5 juiciest, 1 minute clips. So I'll do that. I'll review it, make sure I like it. So I've got the longer form video that's going to go up on YouTube. Then I have those 5 clips from that one video. Those 5 short clips, I will upload those to my Instagram, Facebook, Reels, TikTok, even LinkedIn. I will, share those. And oftentimes I'm linking back to that original video. I might say, this is like in the caption, I might say, if you like the full video, like and comment below with the word video, and I'll send you the full YouTube video, right? Then I also will take that full video from YouTube, and a couple weeks later, depending on the topic, if it's evergreen or timeless, I'll take that full video and I will upload it to Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn. Same video, it's just a little bit different. It's longer form. It's already lived on YouTube. Now I'm repurposing it over here, and it's like it's given it a whole new life. I'll then transcribe that video and I'll say, okay, can you turn this into an email newsletter or newsletter I can send my audience on LinkedIn? I'm trying to kind of more of a written form. I'll even take it a step further and say, can you pull out the main points? Like, let's create a carousel post over in Canva. So I'm often like starting with one big piece of content. YouTube usually, but sometimes it's my podcast. I've got a podcast as well, and same thing, longer form, and then we're going to chop it up. So,
cool. That's a great. So you record a 5 to 7 minute video, kind of once a week ish.
Yeah, and I try to batch them.
Yeah,
I feel like if I'm going to do my hair and makeup and make one video, I'm going to make like 4. So I usually will set aside an hour or 2 once a month and record like 4 or 5 videos, so they're all in one batch. I don't post them right away, but again, I'm kind of all set up and then chop them up. And honestly, another question that came up is, is there a platform that will post to all places? And there are platforms that will post to all places. But what I have found is that it's better when you post organically. Like every single platform is going to prefer when you upload it. So the more you do it, the faster you get. I'm literally like on my phone, upload on Instagram, download, upload here, download. But it's a good thing. It's like, how fast can I do it?
Yeah.
And get it all out there. So
yeah. No, that's really great. Yeah. So when you record your first 5 to 7 minute video, right? Like is it with a cell phone? Is it with?
Yeah. I mean, I do have a fancy camera. We bought a Canon camera a few years ago, and sometimes I use that, but I also get a little lazy. Sometimes like, I got to bring it out. I got to plug it in.
I get it.
So it's like lately, especially the last 6 months, let's just use the phone. So yeah, I have a tripod, we prop it up. My husband, who's also my business partner, helps. I've got a little mic. I plug my little lapel mic, and it's very low tech. Sometimes I'll film at my desk. I've got a couple lights. We've been switching up recently. I'm like, let's go outside. Let's try something different. So, which is why it also helps to use a tool that fixes the audio because you've got the wind and the elements out there. But yeah, I'm pretty low tech.
Yeah. That's great. No, well, like done is better than perfect, right? That was one of the things that you said, like just getting this stuff out there. Practice. Yeah, if people listen to my first podcast interviews I didn't know what I was doing, right? Like everything that we do, we get more comfortable with. It gets easier. So it's just about doing it. The concept of batching is smart. So like for listeners that might not know what that really means, the social media, all the platforms, they love it if you're consistent. Whether it's going to be 2 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, or if it's going to be 1 a day, but what they don't want to see is, so it's better to not post anything for 2 weeks, right? And then come on and be consistent every single day, or whatever your format is, or twice a day, something like that. So by batching, the people say when they start podcasts, right? They record for 4 or 5 months before they even release one because they don't want to miss a week. And so I think the same thing goes into, if it's a 5-minute video, you could spend a day, you could record 6 or 7 5-minute videos. You could have friends ask you questions, things like that, and then be able to turn that into something else. So are you using AI at all? Like ChatGPT, anything for your stuff?
Yeah. So I mentioned Descript that has the AI features built in. So I use that for some of the editing and kind of cleaning up the sound and pulling out clips. I also use ChatGPT, especially with YouTube. There's a really good conversation in there happening about YouTube and how it's the number 2 search engine in the world, and that's owned by Google. So I find ChatGPT can help a lot with just optimizing your videos. What I will usually do is record the video, I get it transcribed, I put that transcription in the ChatGPT, and I'll say, this is for my next YouTube video. Can you come up with a few suggestions for a search engine optimized title, recommended keywords, hashtags, descriptions, and then kind of work back and forth on what that might look like. But that's certainly helpful. And then also with captions. So as I have those longer form videos and I've got the shorter ones, same thing. Like, hey, here's a transcript of a short that's going to go on Instagram. Can you create an Instagram caption, TikTok caption? Because again, every platform's a little bit different. Like Instagram sort of favors the longer captions. TikTok is more like short.
Yeah.
So
I like those options. Yeah, ChatGPT being able to go in and say, "Hey, what's the, I want to put this on YouTube.
Yeah.
What should the title be? Where more people are going to search it? What are the hashtags that you should do? Like the different things that can be uploaded." I think that's a smart use of technology that really helps. Like if we're gonna go through the effort, there's all these little steps to get there.
And just like anything, you got to, obviously, you got to read it over. I mean, half the time I'm like, okay, like I feel like it gets you half the way there. It gets you 50 or 60% of the way there. You have to go into the back end with ChatGPT, customize it, with the words you want it to say. I'm still kind of tweaking it. And with my YouTube, I'm like, I want to add some more stuff. I want to add some more links or whatever it might be. So yeah, but it's a good starting point, and it's just a huge time saver.
Yeah, well, just like you said, we still have to be there. There isn't. You can't use an app to go do it. It still has to be organic. So you can use these tools to help you. I mean, the guy that's on stage right now said, AI isn't going to replace you, but the agent that uses AI is going to replace you. So I know there's a lot of different tools. I think it could go the same with social media. Like the agent that uses social media is going to replace the ones that don't. One of the final things that the guy in the last panel just talked about, I've never heard him talk about. People have always said like YouTube thumbnails are important. Title is important. The thing that he said that really stuck out, he goes, if you think about like dating apps or things like that, people are like scrolling through the apps and then they see something that helps them stop the scroll and then they want to hear the rest. And he said, YouTube's no different. You're even though it's the search engine, right? So you have to get the right stuff for the search engine, but your thumbnail and your title has to stop the scroll. It has to be like, hey, I want to learn more about this one. And so that was a game changer mindset for me with you being somebody that does a lot of YouTube. I think that it's, people have always said like, oh no, the captions matter, the photos matter, that sort of thing matters. But defining it like that makes it really, made it make sense to me.
Yeah, it's huge. So I often say it's like going into Barnes and Noble and imagine none of the books had a cover. Like that's how you decide what you're gonna pick up, what's interesting to you. Looking at the cover.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to think about with YouTube. There's some professional YouTubers that will hire people just for their thumbnail. We'll spend, hours or days just tweaking the thumbnail because it's that important. I don't think realtors need to necessarily do that, but yeah, it does.
It's a big deal. Well, the talk that you usually give is over an hour. Today, you got to speak for 20 minutes. There's no way in a 30-minute podcast today that we're going to cover all of your stuff. But what is the best way that our listeners can go learn more about you? They can go see more of what you're doing. They can go hear more and maybe ask you about any other tips. What's the best way they can find you?
Probably the best way is just my website. It's just KatieLance.com, KatieLance.com. You can find me on all the socials. Feel free to connect with me. We've got some great free resources and more information on coaching.
Yeah. And listeners, I definitely encourage you to do that. The stuff that she just put on stage with her slides, it was so good. So many step by step, so many details on there. And I'm sure and I followed her while she was on there on Instagram, and just seeing the other stuff that's on there. So if you guys are starting your social media journey, improving your real estate journey, KatieLance.com or Katie Lance on any of those social media platforms. Katie, thanks for coming on today.
So fun. I appreciate
You're so fun. Real estate rock stars. If you want to come talk to me some more, Instagram's my favorite spot. I have a pretty unique last name. So if you type Aaron AM, you're going to find Aaron Amuchastegui. Come chat with me on there. If nothing else, hope you come back next time. As always, real estate rock stars. Thanks for listening.